guys, and welcome back to the Mukbang Entertainment Headquarters. I'm your girl, Jessica Marie, and today we are going to be eating sausages, rice, and cucumbers with some mini peppers. And we've got my butter sauce here that is so good. Um, so I do like it with that in it. I believe this recipe comes from Eat with Kim, I believe is her name, and I have tried it before and I really liked it. So I said, you know what, let me do it as a mukbang. So we've got my glass here, and today we're going to be doing some smart water with some lemons in it. So let's pour the water. So I decided I wanted some water today. So that's what we're doing. It's been a busy day and I'm really hungry. So the movie we're going to be doing, reviewing today, is called Boar. Right now it is on Shudder, which is another streaming services. I know many of you guys may not know of Shudder, but it's a streaming service for people who enjoy scary stuff. So let's get into the movie. First, I'm gonna try some of this food because I'm hungry. I'm trying to decide how I'm gonna eat it though. No, I'm gonna make a mess that way. Yeah, this butter sauce is just crazy. So I'm gonna put some right there. So we can get some butter. Okay. We have some of this. This is so good. It's simple, it's light. It's crisp. All that garlic and onions. It's so good. So, the movie starts off. There's, excuse me, you guys. There's this couple taking, I guess, some kind of trip. Um, we're driving along, and it's a man and a woman, and I guess a rabbit jumps into the middle of the street. Um, so a man swerves off the road. The girl's like, what are you doing? He's like, well, I saw a rabbit. And she's like, you're gonna kill us over a rabbit? So we're sitting there and they're talking about that. And then they see a herd of wild pigs running like a stampede. Um, this is so good. So they're like, why are all these pigs running? I don't get it. And you're like, well, something must have scared them. So the man's like, okay, well, let's get back on the road. By the time he does that, all of a sudden, someone plows into their car. And that's the end of that scene. So then we skip to these two gentlemen are at the gas station. Um, these two gentlemen are at the gas station. And they're talking about how a few farmers in town have been getting their fences knocked over, along with some of their animals have been getting killed. Nobody knows how this is happening. So, one of the men is saying that he's going to someone's farm to see if he can fix up their fence. That's good. So that scene ends, and then we jump over to there's another family driving down the road, and I guess they're taking a trip. This movie is based in Australia, on top of that. So they're taking a trip. The family's in the car talking, making jokes. Mom and dad are in the front. Although the man is not the real dad of the kids back there, but I guess he's stepdad. And so they're all talking, having family chit chat. They're talking, I mean, like, there's 3 people in the back, mom and dad in the front. The mom's daughter and son are in the back, and then the daughter's boyfriend's back there with them. And the daughter and the boyfriend are talking about blow jobs and weird stuff like that. I'm like, I would never talk about that in front of my parents, but I've seen kids do very interesting things in front of their parents growing up, that I'm just like, I could not do that. So basically, they're driving to go visit a relative. They stop at a gas station, And then across the way, we see one of the men who was talking about the man who was going to fix the fence. And he's talking to his daughter who owns like a pub. And we're like, oh, I recognize those people. They're related to some person that's in town. So, this is really good. So, they drive over to a farm, the family. And there's a real big, like, wrestler-sized dude out there feeding some baby lambs with a bottle. And it looks strange because he's just so big doing that, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that. So they get to the house and they're introducing themselves. The boyfriend introduces himself to the uncle because he happens to be the brother of the mom. So, excuse me. So the boyfriend introduces himself. You can see that the uncle's a little bit like on the defensive about his niece, which is understandable. So they're talking and they're talking about planning to go on a family trip, like all together to like a lake and swim and have a picnic or just hang out and chill. And so, fast forward from there, we're taken to another scene where there's this couple that are camping. But maybe this is the camping time of year over there. But another couple's camping and he's trying to get some. And she's like, well, give me a drink and then we can have sex. I just want to make sure that certain people aren't awake to hear us having sex. So he leaves. And then the man who was supposed to fix the fence, which is the dad of the girl who owns the pub, he's out there at night with his friend. And this is good. He's out there at night with his friend. And they're just drinking, talking. And they noticed that campsite, or where the couple was at. And they're like, well, maybe we should investigate because we don't know if they got permission to be on that land and whatnot. So they decide to head over there and start walking. Meanwhile, the girl's in the tent waiting for her boyfriend to return with her drink. She starts hearing noises rumbling all around her. And as every scary movie, she says, oh, is that you? Her boyfriend. Are you playing around? It's not funny. You're not gonna get me. You're not gonna get me. So finally, she slides open the tent a little bit, and in flies her boyfriend's dead body, and it's been mauled like to pieces. Wait 1 second, you guys. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. I had to go check on my son. So basically, her boyfriend is thrown into the tent, and he's been mauled to pieces. And so she's screaming, of course. And then this big old pig boar head comes through the tent and is just snapping his jaws trying to get to her. Um, and it looks like he does get to her. Then we flash forward to the two older men who are outside walking towards their campsite. So they get there. Those peppers are good. They get to the campsite and they see that the bodies have just been torn apart. Just ripped apart. And before they arrive, they see this big old boar. They see him. He's standing at the campsite. And so they're like, is that a pig? Is that a boar? And they have their rifle with them, so they take their scope and they look. And sure enough, it is. They try to shoot it, but they miss. So then they go all the way up there because the gentleman who has the daughter, he was like, we have to go check on these people. They could be hurt. So when they get there, they see the bodies that are destroyed, and they're destroyed bad. So the gentleman who has the rifle, who is the dad of the girl who owns the pub, he's like, I have no more bullets in my gun. And the guy's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you have to go back to the car and go get me some bullets. And the man's like, I'm not trying to go out there alone. He's like, well, we have to. So he convinces him to do so. And the man goes. So after that, the man's walking down that way. He gets a stick and he starts hearing noises, these animal creature type noises. And he's acting like he's ready to fight whatever it is, this thing. And the creature comes out and he just faces him. This thing is huge. He's massive. He's like the size of a rhino, but he's a wild pig. Think of, what is it? Pumbaa. Everybody knows Timon and Pumbaa from Lion King. Well, Pumbaa to like to like the 25th power. I mean, he's huge. He's the size of a rhino. Okay, so that's what he looks like. So he's face to face with the guy, and the guy has this huge stick, and he's like, come on. The guy gets slaughtered. So then the man is there at the campsite. He's looking to see if he can find whoever is at this camp their car keys, and he realizes that there's another couple that was camping with these two people that he sees dead, mutilated. So he's trying to look for them. And we flash forward, and the couple is in the forest, and they're walking around just having a good time. I guess they're not aware of anything that happened. So you're out there, and the guy's telling the girl a scary story. And then he's like, telling her to be quiet because he thinks he hears something. And she keeps joking around like, but he's like, I hear something. Finally, he says, maybe I need to cut off my flashlight because it's going to be dangerous. So he cuts it off, but then he cuts it back on. And he turns around. His girlfriend is getting mutilated by this boar. The boar has his tusk through one cheek and out the other, and he's just yanking her about like a rag doll. Then the boar goes to the boyfriend and clearly bites his head off. So the man with the rifle, who is waiting for the other man to return, who's been killed, he finally finds them. And he finds the boyfriend with his head off on the ground. And then he sees the girl who was recently mutilated, one cheek and out the other. She's on the ground. And he's like trying to see if she's alive. She makes some noise and she's obviously alive. So he turns her over and she's just jacked up, man. She's just jacked up. And so he's like, okay, I'm going, because when he finds her, then the boar, his name was Ken. And the boar, he comes back. So he's like, I'm going to lure him away. And you just need to sit here and be quiet and just stay calm. And she's like, no. And so, but he's like, I have to do this because he's coming. He said, I've been doing this since I was a kid. So he runs off through the woods area, leads the boar out that way, and then he circles back and comes back to her. When he comes back to her, she is dead. And so then he realizes that she's dead, and then the boar arrives right there. And he has this like big, I would guess, hunter's knife with him. And he's like, come on, come on. And he gets killed. So then we fast forward and we're with the family. Who is going on this picnic to go swimming. The mom, the dad, the son, the daughter, and the daughter's boyfriend. They're all out there having a good time. And so, well, wait, let's rewind. So the daughter at the pub, she is working. And the gentleman who's like the wrestler, the brother of the mom, he comes into her pub and he's like, okay, I need some supplies, need some sandwiches, some sodas and stuff for our picnic. And she's like, I haven't seen my dad. And this is the guy who tried to help the young lady in the forest and got killed himself. So she's like, I haven't seen my dad. And I've been calling him and calling him. I've called his friend's phone. No one's answering. And he said, well, I'll be over there and I could see if your dad is out there. So that's what the wrestler guy says. And so she's like, oh, that'd be really nice of you if you could. So he goes. So now they're at the picnic and they're swimming, they're having fun. The uncle's playing with the son, dunking him in the water, having fun. The boyfriend and girlfriend, they're over there smooching, kissing, getting it on. This is so good. And this is jasmine rice. That's so good to me. So the uncle finally gets out the water and he's like, well, I'm gonna go check out this location where the girl at the pub said her dad might be, because she hasn't seen him. And his sister's like, well, okay, do you want to bring someone with you? And he's like, no, I'll be fine. So he walks up this hill, jumps in his car. He's driving, playing Vanilla Ice, rapping to it. It was fun. That was kind of funny because I was just like, whatever. I was so old on top of that. But while he's driving, all of a sudden, the boar plows through his car, just plows through it. So his car flips over, goes down the hill, and the husband was like at the picnic site because he didn't go that far. It wasn't far from where they were picnicking. And the husband was like, "Did you hear that?" And everybody was like, "Well, no, I didn't hear anything." But the boyfriend said, "Yeah, I did hear something." So they're like, "Well, let's go together and walk that way and see if we see anything." So they're walking, the boyfriend and the stepdad. And the boyfriend reveals he wants to marry the daughter. And, the stepdad's trying to give him this lecture and saying marriage is for life. It should be a one-time thing. It's a serious commitment. And he's like, I know that, I know. And he's like, well, I don't know too much about you. I don't know about your family or anything like that. He's like, well, I have a good family. And so he's trying to lecture him. And then he's like, well, how many times have you been married, sir? And the stepdad was like, 3 times. He's like, okay, so I don't think you're the one to give me advice on marriage, pretty much. He's like, well, I'm the poster child of what not to do. I feel like, if you've been married 3, 4 times, I wouldn't really try to give anybody advice on marriage. It's just not a good idea because it looks ridiculous. This water's good. So, they're walking. The boyfriend gets a little offended, but he acts like he's over it. So they're walking, and then as they turn around the path, they see the boar. The boar's just standing there. I was like, dang, they're letting us see a lot. The boar was just standing there, and the stepdad wanted to get closer. He was like, oh my God, what is this? This is crazy. And the boyfriend was more like, this looks dangerous. I'm backing away. So he was backing away while the stepdad was kind of moving forward in a way. And finally, the boyfriend pushed the stepdad down and ran. He was like, oh, we have to get out of here. And he pushed him down. And the stepdad was on the ground. He called him a coward. And the stepdad got up. And when he got up, the boar charged him, grabbed him by the face, and yanked him around till his head came off. And the stepdad was done. So the boyfriend's running up the hill. When this happens, the brother, the uncle, he tries to shoot the boar while the stepdad is getting yanked about, but to no avail. So the boyfriend is running all the way back to the picnic site where his girlfriend is, where the mother is, and where the younger brother is. And so he's running all the way back there. He gets there and he's like, he's dead, he's dead. It's a boar, it's a pig, it's a wild pig. And they first are kind of laughing at him, thinking, oh, he's just scared of a pig. But no, this is not no normal pig, so you should be scared. So, right when he gets in front of them or near them enough, he's expressing this. He gets bit. The boar charges him, takes him by like the torso, and just jogs off into the distance. I was like, dang, this boy ain't playing. He's eating everybody. Or I don't think he's eating them. He's just killing them. So the brother shows up and he starts helping the family. He's guiding them out of this situation. So they're running through the grass. And the sun is kind of falling behind. And so finally they had to run and the sun fell. And so the mom turned around and she was like trying to get him. And the boar was right there. He was on the ground. My mom was like, just be quiet. Don't make any noises. And the boar charged and grabbed the boy, I guess by his legs, and was trying to drag him. The mom was trying to hold on, but the boar dragged him off. So it's just the mother, her brother, who looks like a wrestler, and her daughter, who lost her boyfriend. They're all three of them are running. They run all the way till they get to this little shed thing, and they go inside. The mother is totally distraught. She just lost her son, more so than her husband. So she's just totally distraught. She's just falling apart. She starts hitting on her brother, saying, "Why didn't you protect him?" And he lets her do it because he knows this is just grief. I understand. I'm sad too. He really loves his niece and nephew. So he's sad too. So she gets set out, and finally he was about to crack open the door to get some firewood because they're like, "Can we get some wood because it's really cold out?" And I'm like, when you're trying to live, it is nice. I mean, it would be nice to have a fire, but it's like, do we really need that? We're trying to live. You better, I don't know, snuggle up with each other. So he cracks open the shed to try to get some wood, and right when he does that, busts through the boar who is trying to attack him. And so the uncle has this big hunting knife too, and he's just stabbing that thing, stabbing it all in the face, all in the mouth, all in the nose, just tearing it up. And he said, okay, he said, because there was a moment where they had like, the boar was there and he was there with the knife, and his sister and her daughter was behind him. And he said, when I say run, run. So, excuse me, he tells them to run. When they run, he starts just fighting this thing. He's getting wood, smacking it in the face. He's getting shovels, smacking it in the face. He starts boxing the thing. He falls down. The boar, when he starts stabbing him and boxing him, the boar stabs him in his side. So his side, almost like some of his intestines is trying to come out, but not. It's not really at that point, but it's near it. And so he falls to the ground. The boar steps on his back, and that's the end of the scene with that. So the mom and the daughter, they've ran for a while. Now they're sitting somewhere, and they've decided to build a fire. They build the fire, and they make some torches too. So while they're sitting there, they're like thinking, well, you think Uncle killed him? And the mom was like, well, if anyone can kill that thing, it would be your uncle, because he's this big old huge wrestler guy. So they're sitting there, and here shows up the boar. The boar is relentlessly trying to attack them. He's highly aggressive. And what I like about this is you get to see him a lot. You get to see the boar a whole lot, which, some movies, they kind of leave it to your imagination, and they'll let you see little parts, but they don't let you see the whole essence of the creature. You get to see this creature. So the boar shows up. Mom and the daughter are trying to fight it, with their little tiki lights they made, lamps. And it's keeping him at bay for a little bit, but they both end up falling down. And when they fall down, the boar decides to bite the daughter's leg. So he's biting her leg and ripping her leg up pretty bad. And the mom is trying to pull the daughter's leg out, and she's pulling her daughter, not letting him take off with her. And he's just ripping her leg in. I mean, you can see this whole boar just chopping down on her leg. And so finally they kind of pull her away. And right when they pull her away, they see this truck coming up above them. And this truck decides to come straight on down and plows into that boar. I'm like, yes. The whole time I was thinking, after I saw so many different attempts to kill this thing, I was like, you're gonna probably have to hit this thing with like a truck or a van or a SUV, something heavy, something that's got a lot of power to it, and just hit it full force. And that's what happened. When they get to the truck, the mom and the daughter get to the truck, and it's the girl from the pub. She decided to come out there to look for her father. And they see this thing in there. The daughter from the pub, she also brought a shotgun with her, and so the mom grabbed the shotgun and shot that thing first in its side, and he still was trying to get up. Like, I was like, oh my god, this thing is like crazy. Like, this is not no regular animal. So he was still trying to get up, and finally the mom shot him in the face, and he went down. And they were like, oh, thank God. And right when they were about to get in the car to take off to, of course, leave this area, she sees her brother and her son. Her son found, the uncle found his sister's son that was taken off in the beginning. So both of them come back, and the girl at the pub gets in the car. They all get in the car, and she says it's going to take more than a boar to take you down. He said, you can't even imagine. Like, this was a crazy moment. And the mom was like, as soon as we get out of here, we're going back to the city and we're staying there. And the brother was like, I think I'll join you. And then the girl from the pub was like, I think I'm going to go too. And so they all get in the truck. They're all driving back into town. And as they're driving back into town, they see, well, you get to see, they don't see it, but you get to see that the boar is alive. He's standing back up, ready to cause more mischief. The movie was great. Great action, right to the point. And I love that you got to see this creature. You really got to see him. And he was doing some action. Definitely my type of film. I have been debating on watching that movie for a while. So I decided today, let me watch it. It's called Boar. It's on Shudder. Shudder is another streaming service just like Netflix or Hulu or Disney Plus. But Shudder just shows scary stuff. So if you're into scary stuff, which I am, then you'll like it. For me, scale to 1 to 10, this movie gets a 10. It was just, it had all the elements that I enjoy in a film. Whew, that's why it's good. Very, very good. But, you guys, I ate majority of this rice. There's very little left. Like, very little. I am full. Very full. Very content. I'm probably going to leave the rest of this for my husband, because he likes this too. With the butter sauce. This butter sauce, I'm telling you guys, definitely makes this little dish that I'm eating right now so much better. It's like, it's so flavorful. So rich. But other than that, you guys, I think this is gonna be it. I loved this film, loved it. I'm probably gonna watch it again. And I highly recommend it. I highly recommend it. It's not one of those movies that is too scary. It's more like Jaws or something. If you can watch that, then you should be able to handle the boar. So, with that being said, I'll be drinking on that all day. Let me do my little touch up. With that being said, have a good one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and I will see you guys next time for another video, another movie review. I hope you guys ate with me and I hope you had fun. And until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.